So obviously, Stray is a very popular game right now. A lot of people are talking about it. I've kind of mentioned that it sort of reminds me of Strider back in 2014, but that was a full multi-plat, while Stray is on PlayStation 4 and PC. A lot of people on Xbox as well as say the Switch are wondering, hey, is this game going to come to our platform? And I think Xbox gamers in particular, because they see the social media aspect of it, where a lot of PlayStation fans are kind of throwing it in their face, like, hey, look, Stray, it's it's an exclusive, it's another banger from Sony, right? And this is something that I've seen a lot lately, which kind of makes me laugh a little bit, because you see these lists, and I keep seeing this list, and it's like Uncharted Collection, The Last of Us 1. What did we go back to 2016? You know what I mean? Listen, those people putting remakes and remasters. I mean, if you want to play them and they're good, like I thought Uncharted thing was okay, but I would never put those in a list of exclusives coming from a first party or anything, because they've already come out. Last of Us have already come out twice. So, listen, this is going to be one of those things where you see these things, right? And it's like Sifu. Okay, well, that's an indie, but you don't see people listing Scorn and Tunic on the Xbox side, right? Because then it makes things much more interesting. So the fact of the matter is Sony released, you know, Horizon Forbidden West and Gran Turismo 7, and they'll release God of War Ragnarok this year in terms of new first-party games. Both of them, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, all get indies and time double A's and stuff like that. So counting those is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. But people do want to know, hey, is Stray coming to Xbox? And we did find some interesting news. It is indeed coming to Xbox. I think just the idea that we have to wait and understand just how long before it comes to Xbox, I think is going to be the real kind of understanding here. And I'll give you guys a little bit of kind of a rundown of what I am talking about here. So very much so, and I will link this article. You guys can check it out as well. The possibility of a Stray release is not as slim as you might think. The title has captured the hearts and imaginations of even the most, weird gamers, and that could extend in more time. And not all of those blessed with access to a much beloved cat simulator as of its release. Stray is exclusive to PS4, PS5, and PC, leaving Xbox and Switch users out in the cold. Now, obviously, exclusivity deals are nothing new in the world of video games, as Horizon Forbidden West, The Last of Us Part 2, Bloodborne remain pretty much, tied to the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. More often than not, game development studios owned by Sony will see their games only released on PlayStation hardware, although we have seen a few PC ports of previous PlayStation exclusives. It's pretty restrictive so far. But what about Stray, right? I found some compelling evidence, and they found some compelling evidence to show that, hey, indeed, Stray coming to Xbox, folks. So put those cat ears on. It's going to be a good show. Let's go. Now listen, I have a PS4 Pro and I have a PS5. If I wanted to get Stray, it's not too expensive, or I could pick it up if I wanted to. The problem is, like many games, I want to play it on my preferred platform, which is Xbox. So, it makes the waiting game a little bit more frustrating. But this is going to be very interesting because Blue 12, the developers behind Stray, have a different relationship with Sony since they're not a first-party studio. They're an indie studio not directly owned by Sony, so they enjoy more autonomy when it comes to these type of things. So their game is currently exclusive to PlayStation and PC. It's very possible that Stray is going to make its way to Xbox in the not-too-distant future. And you might go, oh, well, that's crazy, right? Well, check this out. There is no way, there is no Stray Xbox version at this particular time, but if you look at social media, you might have thinking that, some people are playing it if you're an Xbox user, but sadly, you can't participate, right? And if you're an Xbox only owner, you probably see a lot of the jokes and the, hyperbole and things like that there might be some hope in the future for you. However, it could be found in the 2020 teaser, which, boom, you're looking at it. At the end of the card for the trailer, it states that Stray will only remain a console exclusive for a limited time. Though there's been no official word on an Xbox release, this does suggest that Blue 12's exclusivity deal with Sony may have an expiration date. Now, it might not even be an expiration date. These small indie developers, by the way, tend to be incredibly small teams that can only work on one version of a game at a time. And this is the reason why I never kind of cap for this type of stuff, right? Like when we look at these types of announcements and things, all right, and we say, hey, look, the Medium, when that was like coming out for Xbox, close to launch or close after launch. I never counted that. I'm like, listen, that game's gonna be on everything because it's Team Bloober and all their stuff goes on everything. And obviously, even their last game was a launch exclusive on Xbox, and a few months later it went to PlayStation. So I would expect the much with this. Tunic. A lot of people celebrated that. Not for me personally, but it was a highly rated game, and people were like, "Yeah, Tunic." But I didn't go, "Oh, look, Tunic, Xbox exclusive." It's foolish to do that. Same thing with like I think Sifu is going to come to Xbox. I think unless Sony buys the team behind Kena, Bridge of Spirits, I think that'll come to Xbox. I honestly just think that, especially at games that are coming out now, probably had some issues in development around the pandemic time, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see if they could actually, come about. Now, like I said, I want to play Stray, probably like a lot of Xbox fans. It's not impossible, it's kind of impossible actually to say how long this type of exclusivity will last, but even if it remains a time deal, generally these kind of exclusivity lasts for 3, 6 months, or up to a year. But there have been exceptions. Some can be half year, or even a couple months, like I said. So honestly, just to be frank and upfront with everybody, we simply don't know how long the exclusivity deal is going to last. It's possible, since the teaser, that Sony might even have sealed the game up indefinitely, but the lack of official word makes it pure speculation at this point, since we've actually heard pretty much nothing. Crazy, huh? Though Stray's graphical fidelity might make a Switch version a tall order, there are no hardware constraints that would prevent an eventual Stray Xbox Series X and S release. The Nintendo Switch is also no stranger to cloud-powered versions of games, so you could see it there. But I have a feeling that we would probably see an Xbox version before we saw anything of a Switch version. So yeah, definitely one of those things where we see these things kind of coming together. Listen, I love. Since there's been such a lackluster first party from Microsoft this generation or this year so far, I've been kind of spreading my wings playing other things. Unbelievable that there are other things. Now, while I will stick by that, a lot of indies are garbage, right? And that's no offense to all indies, because there's some that are really good, but there's just so many of them, such an influx of them, that we don't really have an idea on just what the good games are. You have to kind of just play and pick and choose and just hope that you get a good one. You know what I mean? I just recently did Road 96, I believe it's called, and that was a very interesting game. I mean, yeah, the political overtones I could have done without, but overall it was a very interesting game that I played through, got all 1,000 out of 1,000 gamer score on it, and it took me about 5 hours to do. So yeah, it was very interesting to kind of see that. I love the fact that there's other stuff like this that people can enjoy. Stuff like Stray even. PlayStation fans are hyping up Stray and indie. It's good to see, because everything changes in gaming, and it's nice to see that like people are kind of getting on board with some of these other games, because let's just be honest, a lot of us are playing our backlogs or indies right now, because even if you are a huge PlayStation advocate, their last exclusive from their first party was in March. You're talking 5 months ago. So yeah, this is very cool, very good news. If I had to guess, I would probably say that Stray might come out early next year for Xbox, so it might be a little bit of a wait, but we might hear something sooner rather than later. We'll have to wait and see. What do you guys think? Are you guys interested in playing Stray on an Xbox? Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Please leave a like on the video. It helps it to be seen, and it helps the channel to grow, I guess. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.